He slapped the swinging door that led into the intel room open and sidestepped Jamil, a 21-year-old whiz kid who, like Ryan at his age, had a unique knack for pulling needles out of haystacks, as they sometimes referred to sifting through intel. "They're waiting outside with the convoy, sir." "Tell them I'm on my way. You get the report on the Iranian border breaches down to General Mitchell?" "Last night as promised." He dipped his head. "Carry on." Ryan surveyed the 30 by 70 room, a metal Quonset hut that had been loaded with enough electronic equipment and communication cells to keep any civilian blinking for a full minute. If it happened in the Middle East, it went through this room. At the moment, a dozen regulars hovered over their stations, mostly monitoring feeds rolling down their monitors. The sound of laser printers provided a constant hum, white noise that had followed Ryan most of his adult life. Lieutenant Gassler approached, cracking his neck. "We have a new batch of intel coming from the south. You sure you don't want me to take this hike?" The general had left that call up to him, but he'd kept behind his desk in the office adjacent this hall far too long. A day trip out into the desert now and then could clear the cobwebs. Not that his intelligence was clouded. "It'll do me good. You got this covered?" "Like a lid." Ryan turned back toward the door. "Back by sunset, then. Keep your head low." He left the Quonset hut without acknowledging the advice. Bad luck. The tires of the armored Humvee roared on the pavement beneath Ryan's feet. He'd sat in silence for the last 10 minutes as they sped west along Highway 10 toward Fallujah. "3 clicks to the turnoff," the driver, a corporal from Virginia, announced. "You okay back there, sir?" Ryan shifted his body armor to ease an itch on his left breastbone. "Fine. Air would be nice." The enlisted man next to him, Staff Sergeant Tony Santinas, chuckled. "You think this is bad, sir? Try sitting in this hotbox for 8 hours at 5 miles an hour. Welcome to the Army." Ryan wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. "I can only imagine." They followed a lead Humvee and were trailed by a third, moving a good 80 miles an hour. A fast target made a hard target. On the highway, speed meant security. It also turned the Humvee into a mobile blast furnace, crushing through hot air upwards of 120 degrees. Thankfully, the reinforced windows were cracked only enough to allow good circulation. Like wind chill when fast-moving, the hot air somewhat exacerbated the heat. Ryan stared past the sergeant at the desert. Heat waves rose off the flat desert ground on either side. That the Arabs had managed to bring life out of this desolate land served as a testament to their resourcefulness. While most Americans would shrivel up and blow away with the first dust storm, the Iraqis had thrived. It was no wonder the Babylonians had once ruled the world. A caravan of 5 huge oil tankers thundered past them, headed back toward Baghdad from Amman, Jordan. "This your first tour, Tony?" "Yes, sir." The staff sergeant shot him a nervous look. Big blotchy freckles covered a sharp, crooked nose. A skinny kid who looked not a day over 21. "Where you from?" Ryan asked. The driver interrupted, speaking over his shoulder. "Lead vehicle's turning off. It's going to get dusty. Hold tight. This'll get bumpy." Royals of dust billowed from the tires of the lead vehicle as it exited the main highway, still moving fast. The burnt-out husk of a large transport vehicle with Arab markings lay on its side in the sand. No signs of civilization. The village in question, a collection of mud huts built around a deep-water well called Al-Musib, lay 8 miles north. The sergeant shifted his grip on the M16 in his hands, checked his magazine and safety without looking, eyes peeled at the desert. At nothing. But if there was one thing the American forces had learned, it was that nothing could become something in a big hurry out here in this wasteland. The driver took the corner at full speed, hanging back just far enough to stay clear of the dust from the lead vehicle. The tire's roar gave way to a cushioned whooshing sound. Eerily quiet. "I grew up in Pennsylvania," Tony said, answering Ryan's question. "But I live in South Carolina now." "Married?" "Yes, sir." "You miss her?" Tony dug out a photograph and handed it to Ryan. "Betty," he said. The picture showed an average-looking blonde woman on the heavy side, with big hair that was out of fashion in most parts of the country. Her nose was pudgy, and the teeth behind her smile could have used a year in braces. On second look, a very average woman, maybe even homely. The sergeant stuck another picture under his nose. A newborn baby, grinning toothless.